That is why, also, starting with our administration, we gave TPS, temporary protected status, to Haitian migrants, 55,000. And then more recently, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants for that very reason, that they need support, they need protection.
A few moments later.
Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with it.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah, she was.
Has the Biden-Harris administration done one thing that was a benefit for our country? The answer, of course, is no. Every single policy and position they have taken has been a detriment, has actually hurt the citizens of this great nation. Most recently, of course, being the hundreds of thousands of people they have flown in from Haiti and placed into small towns, where now they, of course, are eating pets from people's homes, eating ducks from the parks, all right? And even though this whole situation has resulted in some hilarious memes, as you can see on the screen, it is still quite tragic. But of course, despite all that, the left and the Democrats are still mystified as to why Donald Trump is beating Kamala Harris in the polls. However, The View, surprisingly enough, is actually catching on as to one reason that might be. Check this out.
And I would encourage the vice president, she's busy, do more interviews. Voters need to hear more from her. They want to know more. There's 28% of voters said they feel like they need to learn a little bit more about her and her policies. Come on The View, go on CNN, do local press. That matters.
But it's interesting you made that point about her getting out there, because Donald Trump is doing something that was just brought to my attention this weekend. He's on a podcast tour, like with these some pretty crazy people. Yeah. But the reach of these podcasts is massive. They're getting millions of hits. I saw a clip this weekend that a friend showed me. It was 20 million hits. He is hitting them all, and they are talking about what you'd expect from him. Nothing. It's just like meandering. But the important point here is that those people that are watching are mostly geared towards young people. So they're not watching CNN, Fox, The View. Yeah. They're on podcasts. So whether they agree or not, because these aren't political podcasts, so this isn't like a conservative group of people, they're seeing that he cares enough to show up and be there. And I think it's having an effect somewhat with these younger people.
Especially white young men.
Yeah, there's a novel idea. Actually go and talk to people and get your message out there. I know this is completely foreign to Kamala Harris, but Donald Trump is taking advantage of these podcasters, right? He has been making the rounds, going on some of the biggest names out there, getting millions upon millions of views from people who are not his audience, right? It's called outreach, trying to get your message to the most people possible so they really understand you through your lens and not through the corrupted mainstream media. And of course, you have places like The View who are simply amazed at the idea that someone would actually do this. And of course, Kamala Harris just ain't, which of course could be one of the reasons why Donald Trump has now taken the lead in many of these new major polls. Now, of course, The View are not the only people to recognize this. You're also going to see the same thing happening over on CNBC.
I think she's been crystal clear on her values, what she wants to fight for, and how she will do it. And also, you know, she talks to people, right? She's reaching out to me. She's reaching out to businesses.
She hasn't talked to the press, Gina. I mean, I know you're a surrogate, but the American people are frustrated. The media is frustrated at the amount of access anyone's gotten to her for the past 41 days. I know you've seen that. We're finally going to have a debate tomorrow night, but she sat down for one interview that was taped and then cut down, and certain little things came out from it. But it has been a master class in avoiding any questions, and nothing's been made clear by her. Maybe it's been made clear in dribs and drabs from her policymakers when it comes out in print or on off a teleprompter at one of her scripted speeches. She's been impossible to pin down on anything because she hasn't given any access. The American people deserve it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and I hear you.
That, of course, is the main problem. Kamala Harris is not accessible, and the vast majority of Americans don't know what she stands for. And the more they're hearing about her, the less they're actually starting to like, okay? But of course, this has prompted Kamala Harris to actually come out and finally finally, after nearly 2 months of being the candidate for the Democrat Party, she has finally come out and posted a new way forward on her website. And yes, here are her policies, all right? Now, most of this stuff is complete garbage, but a lot of it is going to be more populist-centric rhetoric mixed in with her leftist ideals to try to, of course, appeal to the mass center of the country. But of course, it's not going to work because she is on record saying some of the most radical things you could possibly imagine. Policies American people definitely do not agree with. And this, of course, has led to her falling even further. And the Daily Mail is the latest poll to pile on the bad news for Kamala Harris. As you can see over here, Trump is up 55 to 45, according to their research. Okay. And as you can see, go back a little bit, you can see this is where Biden actually left the race. And this is why Biden had to leave the race, because Donald Trump had that 86.7% chance of winning compared to 13.2% chance for Joe Biden Harris. Okay, this is where it was at. So it's no wonder they forced him out. But now you can see Donald Trump is regaining his lead according to all of these leftist pollsters. So this is not just a simple flash in the pan. We're going to see it trending in this direction for the next few weeks, barring, of course, any type of mishap on the debate stage tonight. So, of course, what are the Democrats going to do to counteract all this? Well, it's the same old playbook. Check this out from Nancy Pelosi.
That is nothing to be assumed. I always say to the members, assumed is a word that says ass of you and me. Yeah. So assume nothing. You just go out there and fight the fight as if it's each race is the hardest race that you have ever been in. Mm-hmm. And there are people who will never be, shall we say, inclined to support Democrats because of they just have a different orientation toward women, people of color, LGBTQ. You know, they just are not ever going to be there. So say that's about like 30% or something like that. And then of the Republicans.
So it's the same old playbook we've seen before. Hillary Clinton made this exact same mistake back in 2016, right? All of the Republicans, all the Trump supporters fit into this basket of deplorables. And now fast forward to 2024, all the Republicans, well, 30% of them anyway, have trouble with people of different races, of different genders, with minorities. All right. This, of course, is what they always rely on, trying to castigate the right as the worst possible people in the world. All right. If you have a problem with all of the rampant illegal immigration in your community, it's your fault, right? You're a racist, right? If you have a problem with all of your tax dollars going to people that shouldn't be here in the first place, it's your problem. You're a bigot, okay? If you don't like the rise in crime, right? That's your fault. You're a terrible person. This is what the left simply doesn't get. They are ruining our country, and it is affecting Americans' lives in a very real way. And that's why the polls can no longer contain the dislike for Kamala Harris and all of her policies, and of course, the rise again in Trump in all of the mainstream polls. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.